Buy my new book, Falcons fans. 1,001 Creative Ways to Lose an NFL Football Game, starring Raheem Morris, Zack Robinson, and this Falcons coaching staff. I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. I'm in a surprisingly chipper mood today, not because I'm happy that the Atlanta Falcons lost to the Indianapolis Colts, but if you look back at what the last couple of games have looked like under Raheem Morris, there is no denying that this team needs a new coaching staff. And in this episode, I'm going to prove to you not only are they mismanaging the game from an X's and O's perspective, but they are also mismanaging their personnel, specifically with their players. So even if the Falcons win games, let's just take the rest of the schedule. They play the Carolina Panthers this coming week. Even if they win, it doesn't change what I feel inside. This coaching staff needs to go. Period. We've had too many issues. There's too many personnel issues. There's too many off-the-field issues, the Ray McCloud situation, the Kirk Cousins tampering situation. This entire coaching staff has had nothing but problems since it started. We're not even focused on the playoffs right now. We're focused on winning a football game. So even if the Falcons win, doesn't change anything. By the way, before I continue on, I just want to say thank you so much for 45,000 subscribers. We gained 815 yesterday, and we peaked at about 8,000 loyal fans watching. So if you want daily content, if you want fresh, engaging, and thought-provoking Atlanta Falcons content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button today. Let's go back and look at the bird's eye view box score of the game. It is utter domination from the Indianapolis Colts if you are just looking at the box score. So any random fan that came across this would say, man, the Colts really dominated the Atlanta Falcons. Well, we know that's not the case. So the box score doesn't tell the whole story, but there is one specific thing, actually two specific things, that I want to highlight on here. The first one being possession time. You got dominated in the time of possession by 14 minutes. That's almost an entire quarter's more of football that the Colts had the ball than you did. Meaning, you can't stop the run. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And number two, offensively speaking, 0 of 8 on third downs. We have got to figure out the offensive coordinator. It's not Zach. We know this. We continue to have problems on third down. We continue to make foolish mistakes on third and short, the 3rd and 5 bubble screen to Bijan Robinson. What on earth are we doing? What are we doing, Zach? It is just beyond incompetence at this point. It's borderline just hilarious. It's like watching a bad comedy. You can't help but laugh because everything is just so pathetic. Have you ever watched a really bad movie and you're like, man, this is a piece of shit. And then eventually you're like, it's so bad, it's good. Like, that's kind of how I feel watching Zack Robinson. Like, how is he going to fuck it up today? That's kind of how I feel with Zack Robinson. But more so than that, this goes back to Raheem Morris. We know that there's a lack of weapons on this team because you could be the one Zack Robinson fanboy and say, well, they don't really have a lot of weapons to work with. Yeah, that's because all their weapons are on the practice squad. Nick Nash, Dylan Drummond, Chris Blair, all ripe for the picking. They're all sitting there waiting for their number to be called up. Hey, we only have Drake London. We've got an injured Darnell Mooney. Bijan's your wide receiver 2 at this point. Maybe a little bit of help. Nope, not Raheem and Zach. They're content with keeping these guys on the practice squad. It's malpractice of the Atlanta Falcons organization. It really is. It is. And Raheem just doesn't get it, man. He doesn't get it. Drake, awesome. Sign him to the biggest extension for an Atlanta Falcons wide receiver. He is your wide receiving offense. He is it. Darnell Mooney, 1 reception, dropped 2 balls yesterday. Inexcusable. But I'm willing to give Darnell a little bit of a pass, only because he's dealt with the injury. So I still don't think he's 100%. And another reason I bring up Drake London and Bijan Robinson is because at some point, they're going to get so tired of this gimmicky college-style offense, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose your best players. It happens in every piss-poor run organization. How many times have you seen a player from the Jets request a trade? Now, I'm not comparing the Atlanta Falcons to the New York Jets, but at some point, You got to ask yourself, are you a competently run organization? And right now, I think the majority of Falcons fans would say no. And I can't tell you how many Falcons fans have clamored for guys like Nick Nash and Chris Blair to get called up. Please give Michael Penix a chance to win football games. We'll talk about him later on in just a second. But back to Z-Rob for a second. There's no planning for matchup football. Robinson runs the same scheme and play calling every week. He literally said it himself. I run the same offense every week. Now, he might tweak a play here. He might tweak a play there. But ultimately, there is no game planning for the opponent that you're playing. It's Zack Robinson's offense. We're all just living in it. And it is causing the regression of Michael Penix Jr. It is. Because for as many Penix haters and believers out there, I can meet you right in the middle. I still believe that Michael Penix Jr. is the franchise quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, but not if it's under Zack Robinson. He is regressing. He can't pick up a blitz. He's got happy feet in the pocket. He does that stupid ballerina twirl that Zack Robinson calls a play action. I mean, it's just awful. And it's not just the way it looks, because everybody's talking about the eye test. Man, the eye test sucks. Yes, it does. But it's even worse if you look at the numbers. The last two games that you actually could have won. We're not even going back to the Miami Dolphins game. The Falcons are 1 for 18 on third down. What? Like, that doesn't even feel like a real stat. And that's perfect, Reed. That looks great. That is a ridiculously, hysterically bad statement. The Falcons are 1 for 18 on third down. I completely agree with this Falcons fan right here. Shout out to @TheStick. Maybe that's Easton Stick. Maybe Easton Stick watches it. Zach is horrible. It's the Stick burner account. Zach is horrible for the development of Penix. Bingo. I said yesterday, I don't want to sound like Colin Cowherd when I say this, but you can have one person in a marriage that on paper looks really good. You could have another person on paper that looks really good, and they come together and it just blows up. It looks like slop. It's terrible. It's okay to admit that it's a whiff, but you have to divorce. You can't stick around for the next 5 years hoping that something changes without changing anything. The Falcons need a leader of men, offensively and defensively. Because Raheem Morris is a defensive head coach. But what does he do well from a head coaching perspective? Does he manage the game effectively? No. Does he call the plays? No. Does he inspire the players? No. So what does he do? He hires a lot of coaches. We know that. And if I hear Raheem Morris say this statement one more time, I might actually crash out. We have to find a way to win those football games. It's like pulling a string on that Woody toy that you had when you were a kid. There's a snake in my boot. You knew he was going to say it, yet you pulled the string anyway. It's like, do you have like 4 go-to sayings, Raheem? Care to offer any actual honest insight? I guess not. So, what should Terry Fontenot do? Not like he's going to do anything this season. At least I don't think so. But if he should fire Zack Robinson, type ZR. If he should fire Raheem Morris, type RM. And if they should just clean house, because Marquise Williams, you're not off the hook either. Type CH for clean house. Now, the back half of this video, I wanted to make one thing perfectly clear. There is an opportunity to save Michael Penix Jr.'s career. There is. 2 quarterbacks from his own draft class have improved greatly with good coaching. And they're not Bo Nix, they're not Jaden Daniels, and it certainly isn't J.J. McCarthy. Now, before I get into that, I got to tell you about our friends over at HelloFresh. I personally love HelloFresh. They've got some tasty meal options that you need to try. But specifically Fall, it's here. Cooler nights, heartier meals, and the craving for something warm and satisfying. That's where HelloFresh comes in, bringing you comforting, chef-designed recipes and fresh seasonal ingredients right to your door. This season, they've taken things to the next level with their biggest menu refresh yet. Say hello to a whole new way to do dinner. It's healthier. Feel great with even healthier menu options filled with higher protein and veggie-packed recipes. HelloFresh now helps you eat greener with new veggie-packed recipes that have 2 or more veggies. There's a reason that 91% of customers say they felt healthier eating with HelloFresh. This best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/FalconsChat10FM now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied at discount on first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/FalconsChat10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. Let's talk about the first one real quick. That's our boy up in the Boston area, New England, Drake Maye. I'm sure you're probably wondering to yourself, Moose, why are you comparing Drake Maye to Michael Penix Jr.? I'm not comparing them to Michael Penix Jr. I'm comparing them to themselves. So if we go back to 2024, last year when Drake Maye started, and who was the head coach? Gerard Mayo was the head coach in New England. Funny enough, he's not coaching anymore. But let's just take a look at the breakdown. Drake Maye's first 12 starts versus his last 10 starts. So he's played a total of 22 games. Do you notice anything different? Oh, how about every statistical category? He's better in. Now, Mike Vrabel, he's a defensive head coach. Who's their offensive coordinator? Josh McDaniels, who worked with Tom Brady. But it's clear that if you're a quarterback, a young quarterback, you can win with a defensive head coach. You can improve with a defensive head coach if you've got the right coordinator. And Mike Vrabel is a defensive head coach. He is a leader of men. He's an inspirer. He's a no-nonsense, no bullshit head coach. That's what this team needed. It needed discipline. It needed structure. It needed a voice. Vrabel is the voice. Vrabel is the voice. And like I said, good coaching doesn't have to have an offensive guru. You don't need to go out and get Ben Johnson. You don't need Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay. What you need is an adult in the room. Somebody that's going to just be the leader and say, this stops here, this stops now. We're not going to take any more of this losing bullshit. We're going to find ways to win rather than find ways to lose. But you might also be thinking, okay, well, Moose, that's not fair. Drake Maye's playing at an MVP level. Give us something that's more comparable to Michael Penix and what he is now. Okay, fine. How about this? Not in stylistically, but Caleb Williams. Let's talk about Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick for the Chicago Bears. Let's take a look at his first 27 games. 17 starts last year under Matt Eberflus. First 10 games with Ben Johnson. 6-3 record. That's improved. They're already at more wins than they were the entirety of last year, and they're only through 9 games. He's on pace to beat his passing yards. He's on pace to beat his touchdowns. He's going to have more picks, but I could live with that because he is making more explosive plays, and his passer rating noticeably better. So here's something that's more comparable. This is linear growth. This isn't the explosion of growth that you saw from Drake Maye. But there's no doubt in anybody's mind, Caleb Williams is a better player this year than he was last year. There's no doubt about it. Both of these quarterbacks have seen clear and obvious progression with their games due to better coaching. One has an offensive guru in Ben Johnson, year 1 of the system. You can expect Caleb's going to get better. And Drake Maye, who knows what that guy's ceiling is? Maybe it's Josh Allen. Maybe it's a couple of MVPs. But I want to talk about our quarterback for one more second. Because this is the sad but true fact. And I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings if you're a Penix believer. You are going to ruin Michael Penix if you don't fix it. Picture young quarterbacks coming out of college like a lump of clay. They're unmolded. They have got a lot of shaping to do surrounding their games. Very rarely do you see the Andrew Lucks of the world who are about as polished coming out as an NFL quarterback of college as you could be. Hell, Caleb Williams, as we just previously mentioned, was considered widely to be one of the greatest quarterback prospects we've ever seen, and he's looked like a disaster at some times. So why should we expect Penix to be any different? He was taken 8th. So Penix has clearly some holes in his game. He's not mobile. He's not good against the blitz. He doesn't have a lot of touch on a lot of outside sideline throws. There's a lot of things in his game that he can clean up. But whose job is it to develop Penix's game? The coaches. And by the way, I hear the fans. I read the fans' comments. I go to social media and I take what you guys are saying, especially if you know ball. Shout out to Kai Got Motion. She got a little motion going on because she's absolutely correct with this. DeMeco Ryan yelled at his offensive coordinator just this last week and the weeks past, head coach of the Houston Texans. Dan Campbell literally took over the play calling from Johnny Morton in Detroit. And Raheem Morris said, I have confidence in Zack. Why? What are you seeing that's giving you this confidence in Zack Robinson? I just don't understand. And Falcons fans, if you could take away one thing that I'm going to tell you in this episode, I promise you, if Terry allows this team, these coaches, to continue out the rest of the year, it is going to get worse for your quarterback, for your weapons, for everyone. Before I take on off out of here, remember to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we are very happy that we gained 815. Our goal is to hit 50,000 subs by the end of the football season. We are well on our way. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like today's video, rise up, and be cool.